Hey, this is Voo, and today I'm going to be taking a look at 4 different levels of crosshair placement, from beginner to professional, and I'll be examining strengths, weaknesses, and common mistakes that you yourself should avoid. But first, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Leadify. Leadify is an AI coach which allows you to improve faster by analyzing your faceit or matchmaking games and giving you insight into your weaknesses with personalized training, and it tracks your progression as well. Whether you're trying to rank out of silver, prove to your friends you're in ELO hell, or you're my family trying to organize an intervention and get me to quit CS, Leadify is the app for you. It's also free to try, so give a click to the link in the description and try it out for free at leadify.com. First off, we'll start with Chimera here, who is Silver 2 on Mirage, and he's going to have one of the most common problems I see in newer players, where he's going to be kind of just continually looking where he's thinking. His teammate in jungle is going to end up dying to a player near stairs, and he's going to be hyper focused on that angle. Now, not only is he going to be looking there constantly while in danger from other angles, he's also going to be staring kind of into the wall there. Then he's going to grab that kill, he's going to go out to jungle, and then he's going to think to himself, I could get this Galil. He probably thinks it's an AK, but he thinks he can grab the gun, so he looks back and looks down and grabs it. The problem here is a very basic one that a lot of people are going to need to overcome. It's you need to be able to multitask when you're playing CS and not simply look exactly where you're thinking. You need to get over this hump where you're constantly, oh, a player could be in this angle, so you're looking directly there, even though it's not necessarily dangerous, or you're walking into other dangerous angles in the meantime. Now, I actually want to catch one extra round here from Chimera again to show one of the other very common problems of very new players. They're going to be in decent positions here to try and hold on, but then he's going to let them out and put himself in a terrible spot. So he's going to let the first players across, now he's looking all around, now they're out, and now they can be coming from anywhere, and in fact they're coming from multiple different angles. It's almost impossible in this type of situation to have your crosshair in the right spot. You're really just guessing. And he's actually going to guess right there once before getting killed. However, that's just not a winning situation. Even getting one kill there is something that's a bit of a tall task when you have no idea which of many different angles your opponents are coming from. The benefit you have defending a bomb site is they're coming out of a choke point. You can shoot at them from many different angles, and they can only come from the one specific spot. If you let them out and put yourself in a bad spot while letting them out, you've caused a situation where you can't possibly have good crosshair placement, and you're very likely to die. Next up, we've got Boko, who is a Gold Nova 2 player here on Mirage, and he's going to have a very interesting end to the round. The beginning is pretty standard. He's going to molly over towards ramp, flash over mid for his teammate to peek window, and then he's going to make his way into connector, and he's going to throw the one-way for underpass at the bottom of con. You can hold on to that a little bit longer, since the fastest someone can really get close to underpass is around like 137, but it's not a big deal. And the crosshair here is a little bit wide, but the main problem is he shoots really late. He's then going to make his way over to A, and you'll notice how hard it is, when your crosshair's in the right spot, but he's just hard, wide, swinging everything. It can still be a bit hard to actually land the shots. It would be nicer if he was actually hard clearing things a bit more and stopping at each angle. Following that, he's in a 2v1, and it's going to end up going into a 1v1, and we'll try and move over quickly as the bomb ends up going B, and he's going to try and flank through underpass, and there's nothing really wrong with that. He's actually going to have pretty solid crosshair placement here as he makes his way over, waiting for his opponent to try and show his head up from somewhere. But the trouble is going to begin when he actually taps the bomb here. Now, what he's going to do is, first off, he's going to hit the bomb, and he's going to get off of it as he hits it. You don't actually need to get off of the bomb in these scenarios. If you hold E and mouse 1, as soon as you let go of E, you will begin shooting. You can stay on the bomb there defusing it, and if your opponent jiggles and thinks you're looking at him and not defusing, he's gonna let you full defuse, and if he peeks out, you just simply let go of E and you get the free kill. Now, you will notice as well, his crosshair is gonna kind of glued to the corner there, and his opponent massively over peaks that angle. This is something I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the video because it's a more advanced topic, but just gluing your crosshair to the corner usually isn't the best case scenario. If it's very likely a player is going to jiggle you, that's when that starts to make a whole lot of sense, but in this type of scenario, he's probably going to peak a little bit wider and you can hold it a little bit further off of the corner. Next up for the intermediate level, we've got Conga48, who is a faceit level 5 on Inferno. And he's going to do a few things fundamentally correct when it comes to crosshair placement. However, he's not going to execute it perfectly. As he makes his way over to mid here, he's going to play under quad with the USP, and he's aiming seemingly for Shaquille O'Neal, I feel like. If someone was to come out mid, they'd be a lot lower, and Boiler is much less likely and it's much harder for multiple players to swing, so usually you wouldn't worry about that quite as much. Following that, he's eventually going to make his way down middle, and he's going to get a kill on a player at bottom middle. Not much crosshair placement really going into this one, just a pretty clean shot. Then he's going to have a little bit more trouble as he gets his way over to Banana here in a moment. As he makes his way up, you're going to see that he's chaining his crosshair to the corner there. Now, as he gets towards Car, he's in a bit of an off angle, and you're going to see when he fights this player peeking out on him, he's really got to adjust his crosshair quite a bit to grab that kill because he's got it so chained to the corner. Following that, the peek on the player pool wasn't perfect. He could have jiggled that a little bit more effectively, but it wasn't a big deal, and he's eventually going to end up dying and losing this 1v2, but the crosshair placement there was somewhat on point. He really understood the concept of what crosshair placement should look like. The problem is the execution wasn't quite correct. Next up, we've got Siren here, who is a faceit level 6 on Overpass, and we're going to take a look at 2 rounds from him to show the same issue, but how it can go wrong. Oftentimes when people understand what crosshair placement is, a lot of what they do is they just simply try and pre-aim every angle through the wall. However, that's getting a bit lazy and can cause some issues. So as he clears up here, note he's aiming directly at the wall to pre-aim that spot, and it goes perfectly, and he's doing it again. He gets caught in the side there, but he still gets the kill. But you can see in both angles he was trying to clear there, he was hard clearing while staring at the wall to pre-aim the next angle. You really do want to avoid that when possible. That's why jiggling is really important, trying to make sure your crosshair is tracing the corner, even if you're not expecting someone to be there. At the very least, you make it easy for yourself if they are there in that exact moment, and you can adjust very quickly. Then you might get a little bit of a wind up there where you kind of aim at the corner of the wall just as you're peeking the angle, but you don't need to do it very heavily. If we look at the following round, in round 8, Siren's going to be doing something very similar. Again, quick towards water, again swinging out, clearing these angles, kind of obligation clearing, and then right on the wall, trying to peek the headshot angle, gets absolutely blasted by close to sandbags. Now, the crosshair placement clearing water wasn't perfect either. He can definitely try to hard clear things rather than just kind of strafing past them. When you just swing wide on every angle, even though your crosshair is there, you're not making it as easy as possible to kill a player if they are in those positions. You need to be making sure in a lot of spots you're actually stopping before you even recognize a player is there, so that when your brain does tell you, hey, by the way, there's a player there, all you have to do is shoot, right? But instead he's kind of swinging, which isn't the biggest issue. The biggest issue is he's trying to hard clear an angle, but there are other angles in between the angle he's at and the angle he's hard clearing. So he just gets shot directly in the side and loses the bomb as well. You need to make sure that your crosshair is always active. You're not just lazily aiming through the wall at the most common angle. Now for the advanced level of crosshair placement, we're going to start with this round here from my own game. This is a Faceit 10 game, and this is the introduction to what I'll call anti-crosshair placement, where you're really trying to jar the opponent's crosshair placement as much as possible. So they're going to push me off banana here. I'm going to rotate back around up alt middle, and the bomb's going to be planted. I'm going to end up in a 1 versus 1. Now, this player knows that I'm either coming through apartments or I'm coming through truck side here. There's nowhere really else I could be coming from given what's been going on. So he's going to fake the bomb here, and he's going to immediately move out off of the angle as quickly as possible to make sure I can't just pre-aim and insta-gib him here. And I'm just trying to jiggle. I'm jiggling not just to clear the bomb. I know this guy, every time he fakes the bomb, he's going to be moving out from the bomb to try and make sure not only is he going to be harder to hit, but it's going to make me easier to hit, because if I quick clear the bomb and strafe right out looking at it, he's going to see me before I'm ready for him. He's going to be out to the right side, and he's going to have a much easier time hitting me. So he's giving himself an easier shot. I'm trying to play with him knowing that he's going to be trying to do that, and I'm just trying to run away every time and back off into boiler if I can. So I do it again, this time jump around the corner, and then he's going to get himself knifed real quick. But it's just the introduction to the idea that as you get to a higher and higher level, there becomes levels to this stuff. It's not just about trying to crosshair place correctly. It also comes to the point where you're trying to place your crosshair correctly and trying to make sure that their crosshair is not on you when they peek you. That's the beauty of off angles. That's the beauty of playing clutches like this, where you're really trying your best to make their shot hard to hit. And in doing so, your shot is going to be quite easy to hit. Your crosshair is going to be on point, and it's going to be easy and good to go. Next up, we'll have another round from Faceit level 10. This time we're going to be looking at two separate players that are going to be doing things very well together. And when it comes to crosshair placement, deagles are really the epitome of crosshair placement. Of course, you're going to be able to hit some very nice deagle shots with crazy flicks, but if you want to have a consistent deagle, it's really about placing your crosshair in the right spot and counter strafing correctly and just landing the shots. And when you're on the other side of deagles, one of the things you really need to do is just try your best to make sure that you don't give them any easy kills. A deagle sometimes is just going to hit a ridiculous shot on you, but don't let them land free kills when you're peeking directly into them or you're allowing them to jiggle one deag you. So here we're going to have the round. Austin's going to be heading his way out first, picks up the AK, and then he's going to post his way up on this right side fully posted. He's going to make sure anyone peeking out towards Toxic there isn't going to get anything done, and he's got a nice little off angle to do it up on this rail as well. Then you're going to have B-Dub here trying to fight the guy closer to site. He's helping on this player on the right when he peeks out, then the peek out over here on the player on site, posted up. The guy's going to give him the angle and then the jiggle back free headshot, and then on the swing here you're going to see this little play from Austin as well. Around this smoke, he knows a player is likely to come around it, so he's fully ready for it, and he's just posted up, waiting for that player to swing around, get himself the free kill. So just for some closure to this one, we'll show you the 1v4 that this guy manages to pull off in this round. You'll notice his crosshair isn't in perfect position for every kill. It can come from a lot of angles. It gets a little bit odd. He's just doing the best he can, and he does a pretty good job of it. And his opponents really suck. Now for the pro level here, I'm going to take a look at Yakindar, and I know I went over him for the last 4 levels. However, I looked at a bunch of other players and none of them really matched up to what I've seen from Yakindar. The only clips I've seen that are fairly similar were from Swag, which I saw in Launders' video on his crosshair placement that I highly recommend you check out after this video, since I think, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best tutorials in CSGO ever made.
Swag holds it nice and wide and doesn't need to flick. The distance that he holds it from the angle allows him to react accordingly.
Now, if we take a look here at Yakindar, this round is absolutely perfect. It's hard to get any better than this. As he goes for the re-aggression here on Truck, he's going to spot Perfecto's shadow. Note he has 23 health. He's going to realize, hey, I can't fall back here, so I'm going to fall back into a spot they're unlikely to expect, a little bit out from the corner, and backing up here while crouched. And look where his crosshair is as well, of course, not hugging the corner. He knows they're going to swing out trying to clear the sight angle here, so he holds it way out from the corner. They swing directly into it, and despite having 23 health, he gets both kills. That was absolutely flawless when it came to not only the crosshair placement, but also forcing his opponent's crosshairs into the wrong spot and making it so unbelievably easy for himself there that he could take them down despite having 23 health. So the next round we'll take a look at here is on Train, Virtus Pro versus LDLC, and Yakindar is going to do some more very nice crosshair placement as you'd expect. So he goes up here. You'll notice he's not holding it directly on the corner at this point. It's a little bit out, waiting for someone to potentially swing, gets the kill, and the turnaround is where things are really nice. You'll notice he slides slides along the train a little bit while crouching to put himself wide out from the angle that body is going to expect. If we freeze frame, we can really see the difference between the original angle Yukindar was at when he got the first kill and the angle he ends up at when body actually peeks out. This essentially gives him a free kill on body swinging for a deeper angle. And although body knows this is possible, it still doesn't really matter. It gives Yukindar a free kill. And for the following one, I don't think he really expects Sixer is on the left side here. I think he probably expected if he was on the left side, Yukindar would have died. He grabs that kill, and then you'll notice this kill here. This is where he holds it quite narrow to the corner. You know, he's peeking out on Haji. He holds it quite narrow to make sure he can grab that shot on that player that's likely in ladder, and then he crouches down, and he knows Haji's going to hard clear him back out, so he's not holding it particularly wide there either. He knows the peek that his opponent is likely to be going for, and he adjusts ready for it. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this helped. If you enjoyed the content, you can hit up the Patreon to get a demo review or anything else. And I do again recommend you check out Launders' video on Swag's crosshair placement because it's an absolute beauty. If you've made it this far, I'll let you know that Leadify has a specific part of their app that allows you to see how far away your crosshair is on average in degrees, and it can compare that to people of your rank. It's a very useful stat that I use myself, so I highly recommend it.